Okay, I'm back. I had to cut the other video off kind of abruptly. There was no real time for a closing statement. I had pretty much reached my 15-minute limit, and I just cut it off rather abruptly. But we were talking about basically the master test kit to get those readings of ammonia, nitrite, nitrate, and you can even test for pH, although I would rather use the pH pin, which will give you a digital readout, tell you what your pH is closer to exact. With the liquid test, I can figure my pH is somewhere in the 6 range, but where in that 6 range is kind of hard to tell with liquid that changes color. So this is that steak. This tan one here, these two tan ones, I said were a year old. Well, if they're a year old and this is a year old, something's kind of wrong there. No, this spike grew last winter. About we were going into winter. The temperature drop. I believe temperature drop does trigger spikes. We were heading into winter when this grew last year. So this one must be, a year and a half, 2 years old. So that's that. This one hasn't branched or anything. But if you look closely at the tip, let's get it on the Cherry Baby's red pot here. Kind of looks like it's getting ready to do something. Getting ready to do something, maybe. Okay. Hasn't done anything really yet. But it might be getting ready to do something right there at the tip. Kind of like this one. Right there at the end. Those are the 9 blooms that initially came out. It decided to send off a whole nother shoot with 4, and you can see the 4 there. It's not weird, it's kind of looking normal. It looks like a cluster of 3. Let me see if I can get a better angle to kind of reveal the truth. They're not as clustered up as it looks. But outside of that 3 or 4, you can see the spike is still doing things. It's getting incredibly long, kind of like Rick said, cutting spikes that get way too long. And let's see what happens. Okay, but we're not quite to that one yet, because we're really at these 2. These are the 2 that grew with this one last winter. Kind of like that one going back. Oh, okay. Might have to make 2 videos tonight. Maybe I'll make it tomorrow. I don't know. But it's getting really close to the shade there. It's time to do the next step in trying to get this arching, natural arching cascade of blooms that does not need support. We're right at that time. over here on the latest spike. I think I might do that tonight. Maybe I'll make another video as soon as I get this one done to do that. And I'll show you what I do. But for now, we're on these. These are the ones that grew last winter with that other one. I wasn't trying to do the arching thing yet. And on this one, we got two. These are the same age. They grew together. Two arching spikes. Okay. Now, when we look at the ends of these two, which are off screen, there they are. They don't really appear to be doing anything. They're green, but what are they doing? They're just kind of green spikes. This one has sent out that. And over here, there's the single one from the year that I got these three. Well, four. This one over here, which is dying. That belongs to this group of three, but this one's dying. This particular phalaenopsis is just not into doing anything spectacular. It's just not. It blooms out, kind of normal. Let me see what I get for blooms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like I only got 7 blooms last winter on this. It's just not into doing spectacular things. Sorry, they're tongue-tied again. I get the feeling it gets a little more light sitting here by the refrigerator, because the light kind of comes along the side of the trailer there, shines in and puts bars on this phalaenopsis. And it also, I don't know if you can see, there's some red there. You can kind of see it. And I think that's from the extra light that it gets. But it doesn't, despite the extra light, it doesn't do anything spectacular. I don't think that's the light's fault. It gets the same water that the other two do. I think it comes down to genes. The makeup of this plant just isn't in doing anything outstanding. It's just not. It gives a nice set of purple blooms, but it's never branched in its entire life. Never branched. Never does anything spectacular except growing 2-foot long roots. There they are. That's all it really does, is grow extremely long roots. And that could be because it's the oldest one. So, back past these two not so happy Cherry Baby, and I think that's Wildcat over there, Oncidiums. So, we've covered this 1.5, 2-year-old tan spikes. We covered what happened last winter with these two that did a single. The one over here is dying. This one's still green. This one did too, but it's not really doing anything else. And of course, there is the game of finding the key. It could be on any of these spikes that I've shown. I'll give you that much. Could even be on that new one. Probably not though, huh? Probably not. It's probably on one of these that has spent its flowers. So, we've covered those. I've got like 4 more minutes, so I better hurry up. This season, these are what I'm getting. It's shooting out there. Like I said, it's ready for the next step in trying to get this fabulous arch with no support. That's this year's. This one's always first because this thing just, it wants to do everything. It wants to be first. It's the exact opposite of the one by the fridge. It wants to put on a show. And if I'm not careful, these leaves get a little bit wilty. However, I did bring them back without sacrificing the spike. I don't know how much the videos... I filmed this when it was wilty, and I'm filming it now. It's not so wilty. It could be a little bit better, but it's not as wilty as it was. For the most part, it's came back. And I didn't have to sacrifice this beautiful spike. Over here, yeah, it came out a little bit later. It's just now ready for the next step. I don't think it's gonna arch over because I don't think this winter light. This came out more in the spring when the light was stronger and it was capable of pulling it back over itself. I don't think winter light will do it. And this is, you know, wanting to be the fall winter bloom. And it's growing its spike, it's maturing. It's behind this one. I'm fighting off a sneeze. And this one, I suspect a little bit later, the one on this side, don't forget there's 2 plants in this one pot. That keiki is its own, well, it's not really its own entity. They haven't been separated. But this is the one up here up front that sends out the spikes. That one hasn't yet. Okay, so I've covered all of that. There's, you know, pots and frames and things that I use. But I think this little bit of history is over. And I managed to get it in 2 15-minute videos. This one's going to be about 14. So I'm going to get this uploading to YouTube, and then I will start on what we do at this point in time to get that spike, which probably isn't going to do it, but I'm going to try anyway, to do this with no support, just manipulation of light. Alright, talk to you, I would say next time, but I'm going to start working on the other video probably right about now. So, see you in a few.